patch notes. Destiny 2 update 8.2.0. Activities, Heresy. The final episode of this year of Destiny 2, the final chip has begun. Get in there, Guardians. Crucible, Trials of Osiris, rewards. Added new rewards, including an armor set, Ghost Shell, Ship, Sparrow, and Emblem. No longer requires Flawless to earn most rewards. Move Trials away from a flawless-based system to get 7 wins on a card system that rewards win streaks with multiple tiers and exclusive aesthetic rewards for higher win streaks. Look at that, fellas. Look at that, man. For the first time ever, you're going to be able to go to the lighthouse without the need to go flawless, which is huge. Improve the base reward structure of Trials. Pinnacle Challenge now award Trials armor in addition to Pinnacle gear. Increase the amount of reputation gained on losses by 10 times to add a new bonus that's earned by playing in a fire team with clanmates. Add a new set of base rewards for wins and losses that will be added to the existing Trios completion rewards, but for players in any fire team configuration. Passages, they have now been dropped to just 2 passages. You've got the Lighthouse Passage. All you need to do is win 7 games on a Lighthouse Passage, and you'll earn entrance to the Lighthouse regardless of how many losses are on the card. And then the Lighthouse chest rewards are now broken up into 2 types. Repeatable rewards that you can earn every time you complete a Lighthouse Passage and open the chest, and weekly win streaks from 1 to 7 wins in a row, which can be earned once per week and must be true win streaks. There are no mercies here. In that Trials Passage, we wanted to provide a separate place in Trials that is more like Iron Banner in terms of rewards and matchmaking to get additional players into the ecosystem. Utilizes weekly performance-based matchmaking if everyone in your fire team is on a completed Lighthouse, Flawless, or Trials Passage. Trials of Osiris Passage provides a healthy reputation bonus of 75 to 150 per win, depending on your current rank with Saint 14. Look, this all sounds good in theory as well as the passages, but it's just going to come down to how it plays, right? I'm hoping, though, with the no longer the need to go flawless in order to get to the Lighthouse, we're going to see a big boost in players trying out Trials. Skill change out. The skill is tracked and updated for all modes. Objectives are now on par with base kills for points. So there you go, guys. People that play OBJ will be rewarded. In some cases, not. Additional points are granted for kills that are in service to the objective and remove multiple farmable points like damage dealt, revives, and longest kill streak. Now, players score stat and post-game scoreboards. They've updated this stuff. I mean, the main thing is like it'll be different ways to flex at the end of it with a little more detail orientation toward objectives. Playlist reorganization and consolidation, core game modes, control 6v6, outline protection, comp 3v3, rank base, rumble, free-for-all, and open skill and private matches. Quick play rotators, available game modes for each changes weekly. Quick play 6v6, open skill, clash, supremacy, zone control, rift, and relic. Small team quick play, small teams 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, all open skill, doubles, 2v2 clash. That's a thing, guys. And honestly, what we really should get in Destiny at some point is 2v2, v2, v2. That would actually be dope. Elimination variants, 3v3 elimination, Dominion countdown survival, competitive respawn variants, 3v3 countdown, Russian showdown, 4v4 lockdown. Modify quick play, various team sizes, 3v3, 4v4, 6v6, open skill. Added new variants of checkmate and hardware. Checkmate variants, 6v6 control and 4v4 throwback, survival showdown, countdown rush. Hardware variants, 6v6 supremacy and 3v3 hardcore, elimination countdown, Dominion, and other modifiers, 6v6 momentum control, mayhem, and scorched clash. We got our events right here. Iron Banner control 6v6, Iron Banner quick play rotator, Trials of Osiris, Guardian Games quick play. I'm not going to go through each and every single one of these guys, but right here, Crucible specific ability tuning. Baseline Crucible ability cooldown penalty increased from 15 to 20%. Supers go from 20 to 25%. Now, Prismatic only unpowered knockout melees will no longer spawn diamond lances on kills against players. Active, now that doesn't mean you can't spawn one, but again, unpowered knockout melees. Active energy refund on Prismatic decreased by 20% in Crucible. This affects energy refunds from things like damage dodge, shiver strike, and armor mods, but generally excludes exotic effects. Again, this is on the extended cooldown already when using Prismatic. Added 10% cooldown penalty to supers, so there's more of a trade-off to picking these subclasses and modes where super timing can be vitally important, like Trials or competitive. Now, lobby balance, we have made some changes to the player lobby balancer, so it will fall back to the Avenger or average lobby rank balancer less often when dealing with fire teams. Map weighting, yeah, they did some map. They, again, reduced vault stock and multiplex from average weight to below average weight. All right. Let's kind of just keep going through this. All right, competitive. The quit penalty timer has been increased to 90 seconds to make sure that if a player is AFK at the beginning of the match and gets kicked, their teammates will still benefit from the loss forgiveness. That's huge. Competitive point system rework. Remove the expected rank system entirely and streamline the point gains and losses. Wins and losses, add or remove a base value of 100 points. Performance bonus linked to player score and efficiency. Rewards between -10 and +10 points. Contribution scaler. This system can grant a bonus of up to +50 to either reduce the points lost on defeat or grant additional points for win, and will be utilized in 2 circumstances. First, to help offset occurrences where some players contributed significantly more to the outcome of the game than others. Second, it can also be applied as quitter compensation when a player has left earlier in the match, but the remaining players continue to finish it out. Skill modifier based on the opposing team's average skill compared to your team's average skill, capped at -20 to +20. So the main difference here, guys, is that originally before there would be like this hidden system, ranking system behind your Guardian that says this is what this, based on this Guardian's previous play history, this is what his true rank should be. And then that would have a great effect on how much rank you got per win and how much rank you lost per loss. And so, anyways, they've eliminated that. Raids and Dungeon Salvation's Edge changed the memento acquisition criteria for Salvation's Edge. And we went into that last week. Best Resource fixing an issue where the operator panels can be activated by splash damage, reducing the likelihood of accidental activation by player abilities and weapons with area of effect. Last Wish updated Queen's Walk buff to be displayed at the top of the HUD as other critical debuffs and buffs. All right, now let's get into armor. Gameplay and investment, exotic armor, Hunter, Dragon Shadow, and Spirit of the Dragon. Updated Wraith Mail medal to show a timer next to the buff. Fixed an issue where the Wraith Mail medal had a lower priority than intended. Foe Tracer increased the bonus weapon damage duration from 10 to 15 seconds. That's huge. Wisdom's Vest, and we were just talking about this earlier. Les actually brought it up. He thinks it's going to be meta. We'll see. Now progresses its super returns on super hit, as well as kills before becoming invisible. Improve the maximum possible super energy gains per return, while also increasing the amount of progress needed for maximum gains. Now also emits a cloud of weakening smoke when you exit invisibility while near an enemy. Works both in the neutral and while in the super. Look, here's the thing, man. We'll try it. Special Blade is still poop. Oh, we'll try it, man. Might be good. We might be a situation where you might be able to keep your super literally forever. It is a void season. Get some void surges going. Who knows? Maybe we can make it work. I just find that its hit registration is terrible. Radiant Dance Machines improves airborne effectiveness and hip fire, mobility, range, and accuracy for primary ammo weapons. Multi-kills with the primary ammo weapons refund dodge energy. When dodge energy is full, multi-kills grant extra charges. Powerful commands and guardians count as more than one kill. Renewal Grass. Double rate of frost armor gained while in enhanced dust-filled grenades. That's really nice. Sealed Ahamkar Grass. Rework the weapon swapping focus to differentiate it from other Hunter reload exotics. Purchase description now reads as follows. Power, melee, and finisher final blows grant Nightmare Fuel, increase in handling and airborne effectiveness while active. Freshly drawn weapons deal additional damage and grant Nightmare Fuel on final blows. Gaining Nightmare Fuel reloads all holstered weapons. Trident Vice. Reduce the delay before the explosion happens on glaive projectile kills. That's huge. We're actually rolling in there today with Trident Vice on Hunter and the rework to the exotic glaives. This is the Spirit of Galanor on the exotic class item. Reduce the maximum amount of energy refunded for Silk Strike and Golden Gun to 30%, down from 50%. So nerf. This is Spirit of Foe Tracer. Spirit of Foe Tracer has inherited the changes made to Foe Tracer, so they tend to now 15-second duration. And Spirit of the Dragon also inherited the same changes. Now Titan, Sign Ramparts. Removes several downsides applied by Assault Barricade to bring in alignment with base towering barricade behavior. Cumulatively, these changes result in a towering barricade you could shoot through with no other downsides, while Signs is equipped in PvE, see the below. Increase barricade health from 400 to 500. No longer increases barricade cooldown and no longer decreases barricade duration. This is going to be huge with the new aspect, guys. We're essentially getting what you have if you've played Destiny Rising with Bolt Charge, the new aspect, and Sign Ramparts. You're getting essentially that gameplay, but in Destiny 2 now. Further increases damage dealt to Signs barricades by Guardians from 125 to 160%. This results in near identical effect of barricade health in PvP, 2.5% less after these changes. Now, Eternal Warrior, Final Blows with Fist of Havoc now grant extended super duration. And Insurmountable Skullfort now grants energy to arc melee abilities when hitting targets with melee attacks. Amount granted varies based on the melee being used. From most to least energy granted. Power melees, non-glaive, unpowered melees, while knockout is active, and unpowered melees, including glaives. I think Insurmountable, by the way, with the Ballistic Slam buff, it's going to be really good until you hit a Curse Thrall. Khepri Sword now sends out 3 waves of flame instead of a single one when you cast your barricade. These waves no longer return toward the barricade. They can only travel outwards once. Tracking the waves has been enhanced, though, and combatants damaged by these waves are enveloped in a sunspot. Players are enveloped if they are defeated. Now requires a solar super, though, to be equipped to create the flame waves from the barricade. Ursa Furiosa blocking damage with, and also didn't even mention it right here, Did it even mention the thruster? I wonder if that even made it. So the thruster is supposed to do like an X formation for the waves. Ursa Furiosa blocking damage with Unbreakable now returns grenade energy instead of super energy. Grenade energy is returned at the end of Unbreakable in a scale based on the amount of damage you block with it. Worm God Caress fix an issue with a timer would still display in player's buff tray after switching off the exotic. This is the exotic class item. Stoicism, Spirit of the Bear. Spirit of the Bear is inherited the same changes there for Ursa Furiosa. Spirit of the Horn. Spirit of the Horn is inherited the changes made to Kebri's Horn. Oh, here it is. On Thruster, Spirit of the Horn will now emit 4 waves in an X pattern. What I'm curious about on this, like, is there going to be a center point then that a target gets hit by the wave? So if you thrust right, like you thrust right in front of an enemy and they get hit by the X, the double X, could you kill them on the spot? I don't know. We'll have to just see. All right, Warlock, Crown of Tempest, adjusted gating to more robustly support prismatic warlocks by expanding the granted ability regeneration to all elements. Description was updated to match. While you have an arc ability equipped, arc ability or jolt final blows increase the recharge rate of your abilities and extend the duration of storm trance. Geomag stabilizers. Added a new perk, sprinting while near max static charge will top it off. Starts at 6 stacks of static charge. Re-added effects where the boots spark while running near full max static charge. Increased super energy gain from ionic traces from 2 to 7%. Let me just say this. I don't know if I've got any Geomag users in here. Geomags was already pretty good. Like even after the nerfs, it got a slight bump up and the ability to create ionic traces. That though right there increased the super energy gain from ionic traces to 2 to 7%. You're going to have so many supers, guys, with the right exotic combination. Mano Battle Harmony. Fix an issue allowing players to extend Song of Flame. The Stag. Fix an issue preventing the Stag from dropping a Healing Rift on death. Seeking Filaments. Now grants class ability energy for each final blow while Devour is active. Skull of Dire Ahamkara now quickly requires Nova Bomb to be equipped to get the bonus super energy from kills while Devour is active. Speaker Sight and Edge of Intent. This is the exotic glaive. Healing Turret now only targets damaged allies. Storm Dancer's Brace. Increases the damage benefit per stack of ascending amplitude from 10 to 20%. Now also reduces the cost of Ionic Blink during the super by 50% and reduce the maximum amount of energy refunded from 50% down to 30%. So a nerf on that front. Now, Verity's Brow now uses a meter to track death throws. This means it decays through the tiers rather than falling off completely when the duration expires. So these are the different tiers. Again, think of Worm God. That's essentially the same treatment that Death Throws is going to get. This is the bonus recharge per tier. And of course, you've got the damage increases as well. What this is essentially going to allow you to do is just have way more ease of use for maintaining that buff, for extending it, and to getting the max benefits when necessary. All right, Spirit of Harmony. This is inherent the same changes there. Spirit of Filaments, also the same inherent changes from the base exotic. Weapons, Global, Temporal Aim Assist. Aiming at a target for a short time will prevent another target moving very quickly across your reticle from dragging your aim off it. This is for controllers only. So again, you're scoped down, you're looking at a target, and then some guy runs across in front of your sights there. It's not gonna move you. You should be still locked in on the target that you were originally locked onto. We'll see how that plays out though. Weapon archetypes, aggressive frame fusion rifles. They reworked aggressive frame fusion rifles like Coriola's effect. Now fires 3 bursts of 4 pellets in increasingly wide spreads. Increase the minimum damage when outside of range from 45 to 65%. Increase range fall off start by 4 meters relative to normal fusions. Yeah, 50% damage versus minors and major combatants. We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see if Coriola's is actually going to be meta or not. I don't know. I still think it's going to be a stretch, but we'll see. Now, fusion rifles increase damage by 30% versus minors, major champions, and mini boss targets. Holy shit! And you guys said we were not going to be in a fusion rifle meta this coming season. This on top of particle reconstruction? That's fucking crazy. By the way, this hits Vex Mythic class. Glaive significantly increased the aim assist, magnetism, damage fall off ranges. Enabled a small amount of tracking on the projectile by default. Increased baseline effects for handling speeds, including shield ready speed, mag size, projectile speed, and reload speed. Finally, the melee combo deals double damage. So you don't want to do any canceling out, guys. You don't want to be blocking while you're doing a melee. You want to do the full animation to get the double damage. Also deals more flinch to combatants. Heavy linear fusion rifles branch the flinch taken so they are no longer affected by the flinch nerfs targeted at special ammo linear fusion rifles and Crucible. Rocket sidearms. Bungie did a lot here. Intended to make them slightly worse at ag clear, harder to use at longer range against moving targets, and not as strong against bosses, but maintain the same total damage against a single target. Reduce PV detonation scalar from 4 to 2.3. PV impact scalar from 1 to 2. I think the numbers got broken down that is essentially going to be doing 15% less, right? Also reduce damage by 30% versus bosses, vehicles, and mini-boss targets, and reduce magnetism fall off at maximum distance by 8 meters. Keep in mind, none of this affects Buried Bloodline. Buried Bloodline's body shot damage is unaffected, and its critical hit damage is buffed by 8%. So Buried Bloodline got an overall buff from this. All right, now the range stat was vestigial on the weapon subfamily and made the stat count on the weapon too high, so we removed it. Range Masterworks and Enhanced Intrinsics were replaced with Blast Radius. Increased starting ammo and ammo gain from drop bricks and Crucible. Now, support frame auto rifles, range now scales how far away you can heal another Guardian. 28 meters at 0 range, 38 meters at 100 range. Swords. Waveframe swords now use a significantly wider wave particle effect to match their actual area of effect. Okay, adjusted particle effects that plays when a sword's ammunition is depleted or restored. This VFX now only plays when a sword is equipped and resolved an issue where the effect could play at the character's feet under certain circumstances. All right, now PV damage changed. Auto rifles, 10% versus minors, majors. Nice. Linear fusion rifles, 10% versus all combatants. Huge, man. Huge, especially for this season. Power grenade launchers, minus 10% versus bosses. Rapid fire GL bonus reserve reduced from 25 to 15%. That is an all-around nerf to GLs. And you know what? To the commenter the other day who said, dude, why are you even testing out linear fusion rifles? You know we're just gonna roll in there with GLs again. Good luck, man. Good luck. Have fun. Scout rifles, 15% versus minors, 30% versus majors. That's huge. That's freaking huge. SMGs, 5% versus minors. Trace rifles, 20% versus minors. This is especially important for the new seasonal trace rifle, which is a primary. Some changes here to weapon perks. Ambitious Assassin. Remove the time requirements of the perk to make it more comparable to Envious Assassins. This perk requires you to use ammo for the weapon this perk is on. Destabilizing rounds now grants volatile rounds for 2 seconds if any targets are hit by the volatile burst from the initial final blow. Reduce the internal cooldown. This is huge. From 4 seconds to 1.5 seconds. That's massive. There's so many weapons to destabilize rounds, guys, but that is massive. Flash counter. This is a sword perk. Rewrite to read. Taking damage after guarding amidst a disorienting blast. No longer requires a timed input or melee to trigger. So you can just literally just hold it. And then deals damage in a large cone in front of you, disorienting combat. So all around, it's an ease of use buff, making it way more worth using, because before you had to time it and it was just annoying. Full court now scales the detonation and burn damage with area denied grenade launchers. Interesting. And also gives us a clue of what we're going to be getting. Grave Robber fixed an issue where players could not activate Grave Robber with Song of Flame melees. Loose change double the duration from 4.5 to 9 seconds and 5 seconds to 10 seconds for enhanced. Bungie really wants us to use loose change. Psycho Hack. Origin trade on our Witch Queen weapons. Set it to use the new shared exhaust verb instead of a custom variant. Fixed an issue where the indominant ability was not functioning as intended when playing a prismatic subclass. Fixed an issue where the severed duration granted by the Sight Spurt was not being extended by thread of continuity. And fixed an issue where the glaive melee attacks against stasis crystals wouldn't trigger Rhyme Stiller. Okay. Exotic weapons, class exotic glaive. Special shot is no longer tied to the glaive energy. It is now driven off perk, looking for 6 hits to allow the special reload. Increments off both shots and melee. So anything, guys, the projectile or melee hits will activate this. Hunter also gains jolting feedback perk. Titans also gains the stabilizing rounds perk. Warlock added cure pulse to special shot impact. Also gains incandescent perk. This is a huge change to exotic glaives, which is why we're rolling in there today with the Hunter exotic glaive. Centrifuge increased max size to 45. That's nice. Colony increased detonation damage by 40%. This puts its damage per shot a little above legendary drum grenade launchers. Increased the number of bots spawned by 1 for all enemy tiers except players. Players 1, minors 1 to 2, elites 2 to 3, champions 5 to 6. Darcy added a new perk, networked targeting. I love the name of it, right? Hits with personal assistant active, grants you and nearby allies improved overall weapon performance, precision damage with non-exotic sniper rifles. Stacked up to 5 times. Darcy also gets the buff itself. Darcy user also gets the 50% damage after granting 5 stacks to a teammate. So this is the Gallahorn of sniper rifles. You will be buffing your teammates. All of you whip out sniper rifles. One of you's got a Darcy. You're going to be buffing your friends that are using legendary sniper rifles. Dead Messenger, Hardlight, and Borealis is actually a huge change right here. The fundamentals. New effect grants a 30% damage buff, 10% in PvP to this weapon when you apply or receive an elemental keyword that matches the currently selected damage type of this weapon. Remove effect no longer grants different stats based on selected elements. Borealis only, though, increased stability by 20 and aim assist by 10 to permanently granted the void element bonus that it will no longer have access to it since Borealis is a sleeper pick in PvP. This bonus was selected over Arc since there are more ways to gain handling. Most people still won't handle it, but it is what it is. But this right here, you're going to get a free 30% buff. So free. It's so free for that, right? Delicate Tomb increased the chance to make an onic trace from minor combatants from 4 to 10%. God, that's going to be nuts. Increase the PV damage bonus on the Tempest Cascade shot from 30 to 100%. And remove the timer from Tempest Cascades. Last until fight. Let me just say, Delicate Tomb, it's already going to be a nuts with the Fusion Rifle buff. You do Delicate Tomb, you do Geomax, you rock an arc-based build, you will profit all season long. The Fourth Horseman reduced the rate of fire slightly. Return ammo from reserves to the magazine per kill. Interesting. Wow, they actually toned back the rate of fire. Legend of Accuracy reduced spread by 33%, and they also increased the damage fall off distance start and increased range projectile max distance to 18 meters, up from 12, which is pretty huge. Lord of Wolves increased range, reduced base damage, remove accuracy penalties from standard fire mode. Release the Wolves now triggers on hip fire instead of special reload. Fires full auto, greatly increases damage and rate of fire, and reduce accuracy and range. Catalyst, reload speed, and stability boosts are now built in. When Release the Wolves is active, dealing damage to targets scorches them. When aiming down sights, defeating targets spreads scorching nearby combatants. We'll see, man. We'll see how Lord of Wolves plays out. Lawrence Driver, picking up a bounty tag now grants 1 ammo to the max, just 1. Triggering Agrarian Sight by picking up a bounty tag adds 6 ammo to the mag. That's actually pretty nice. The first time you trigger it, just for the first. Goes back to adding 1 per tag on extension while the buff remains active. Manicore updated the art of the perk progress bar in the weapon reticle. Queenbreaker can now swap between 2 scopes using special reload and also alters the weapon firing behavior. Again, it's got its marksman sight and its combat sight. You'll be able to freely operate between the two of them with the special reload. Again, marksman will fire that single shot. It will also blind and chain to nearby targets. Combat sights, though, is going to become a 3-round burst linear that decreases charge time even further on sustained damage. I think it's something like 533 charge, and then will drop to 300. While the scope can be swapped between at any time, selecting the scope node in the inspection screen lets players choose which scope they want equipped by default when spawning in. Increase the search range of the chain projectiles from 8 meters to 10 meters. Quicksilver Storm partially rolled back the final shape change, reduced shots required to trigger a rocket by 17%. See how that plays out. Telesto, Harbinger's Pulse. Now only refills Telesto's ammo from reserves instead of Telesto in your kinetic stop weapon. Now triggers with any void kill, not just Telesto kills, and kill requirements increase from 2 to 3. However, Telesto kills count double. In other words, will trigger off of 2 Telesto kills, 1 Telesto kill plus 1 other void kill, or 3 other void kills. Multi-kill timer increased from 2 seconds to 4.5 seconds. Now, it's Catalyst, new perk, Harbinger's Vestiges. After 3 activations of Harbinger's Pulse, so this up here, special reload the weapon to cause a rain of Telesto projectiles on your next direct hit. Not really sure what that means. I'm not really sure how many that means. I don't know. Could be 5, could be 6, could be crazy, could be something like 20. Warcliffe Coil, new intrinsic effect, grants 1 stack of static charge to all nearby allies for each 2 rockets fire, 4 instances per trigger pool. Excalibur, trigger and perpetual loophole, now also refills your glaive energy. Slightly increases overshield trickle on rate when guarding. Excalibur's secret damage bonus when striking with its projectile against a certain enemy faction has been increased from 10 to 25% to match Wishinders and Malfeasance. Oh my god. Excalibur now briefly disorients non-boss Vex with its melee attack. Very nice. Dude, that's huge. Fixed collective obligation, not being able to leech suppression from tethered targets. Suppress VFX from Winterbite Exotic during emotes and other performance actions. Fix an issue with Acquire of 1. Wasn't applying proper bonus damage to frozen enemies. By the way, let me just say this. Acquire of 1 has destabilizing rounds. Give it a go. Should be really good. Fix an issue where Tommy's matchbook could continue to apply scorch to enemies even if it was not hitting them. No! Yeah, I thought we got that one by Bungie. They fixed it. They actually fixed it. General, added a new weapon mods to their appropriate collection menu. Overload effects will now use shared exhaust spur. Fix an issue with the curated roles of guarding game weapons acquired during Season of Defiance. Could not swap perks and could not properly gain enhanced perks. Fix an issue preventing players from being able to reselect the tracking module perk on the Hothead Adept rocket launcher. Fix an issue with the Heretics Favor rocket launcher. Could drop with quick draw perk in both trait columns. That's the 5 out of 5 roll, man. Abilities, General Arc, new Arc keyword added, Bolt Charge. Gain a stack of Bolt Charge from any source, grants melee energy. Once a stack is gained, any sustained weapon damage increases stack count. At max stacks, any ability damage will discharge a devastating arc bolts at the victim's location. Amplified. While amplified, combatants are now less accurate against you. This is huge, by the way. Huge, man. Now grants 50% damage resist versus PvE combatants. Huge. Both of these are huge. Spark of Discharge added. Picking a Bionic Trace grants a stack of Bolt Charge. Very, very nice. Matter of fact, that's actually going to change up probably a couple of my builds. Spark of Momentum, sliding over ammo bricks now also grants you a small amount of Bolt Charge. Remove the bespoke melee energy granted when Spark of Momentum activates because melee energy is granted by the Bolt Charge stacks. Reduce the amount of time you need to be sliding to activate Spark of Momentum. Spark of Frequency added. While amplified, gain increased Bolt Charge stacks from all sources. Spark of Volts added. Now finishers also grant a Bolt Charge in addition to granting amplified. Spark of Ions, defeating a target with Bolt Charge now creates Ionic Trace. I think more reliable ways, but all right. Solar Radiant, reduced damage buff. 25 to now 20%, while the radiance is still the same. Stasis Frost Armor, increased damage reduction per stack from 4.5. Or yeah, increased damage reductions per stack from 4.5 to 6.25%, which means at max, you're going to be looking at 50% versus 30%, 36% damage resist. Whisper of Rhyme fixed an issue where maximum Frost Armor stacks were not always reset correctly. Prismatic, they just essentially just added Bolt Charge in there to Fast of Hope. This as well, that as well. Okay, Brawn, tuned healing sources to balance the health economy. Titans Barricade, increased damage resistance versus combatant splash damage attacks when standing behind a barricade from 60 to 80%. Taunt strength and range no longer fall off over time. Fix an issue where the barricade would continue to taunt enemies if its owner disconnected. That's so strange. How often does that happen? Somebody drops a barricade and they disconnect? Okay. I mean, I wouldn't even be mad if it was like, oh, screw you, Bungie. He disconnected and his barricade was no longer taunting. You know, that seems like such a small thing. Striker, new aspect added, Storm's Keep. Juggernaut now grants splash damage resistance while shield is up, 60% in PvE, 10% in PvP. Now grants 10% overall damage resistance while the shield is up. Taking damage now grants you a stack of Bolt Charge. Might be nuts, man. You might be in a situation. Yeah, this might be nuts. You got Juggernaut and Peregrine Greaves. You got Bolt Charge. You go for the Knee of Justice. You also drop a Bolt Charge down as well. Be good. Ballistic Slam grants a stack of Bolt Charge for each enemy hit by Ballistic Slam. Sprint time requirements before activation reduced from 1.25 seconds to 0.03 seconds. Damage now scales based on the distance travel. Damage versus PvE combatants increased by 30%. That's huge. Thunder Crash, colliding with enemies now more reliably triggers the crash. By the way, we have not seen a nerf to Thunder Crash in Yeet. I mean, fingers crossed. It hasn't happened yet. And it's supposed to be bugged out and doing too much damage, but Sentinel Unbreakable, increase the rate that Unbreakable offensive throw charges up when blocking damage. Increase max damage dealt from the offensive throw by 20%. Increase the health pool of the shield to make it less likely to break when under heavy fire. Increase the void overshield charge rate while holding. And throw now costs half a grenade energy charge instead of a full charge. While Sentinel Shield is equipped, Orb of Power creation cooldown increased from 1 second to 4.5 seconds. Now, Ward of Dawn now weakens nearby enemies during creation. It's pretty nice. Sunbreaker Consecration reduced Scorch Wave and Slam Wave damage versus PvE combatants by a whopping 55%. No, bonus ignition damage is unaffected. All right, that's huge. Night Stalker, Hunters, new aspect added, On the Prowl. Arc Strider, Tempest Strike, new perk added. Killing any jolted target grants a stack of Bolt Charge. Increased damage versus PvE combatants by 57%. Disorient Blow now grants a moderate amount of Bolt Charge when you damage enemies with Disorient Blow. Now deals considerable AoE damage. Increased AoE damage range from 6 to 7 meters. Increased Blind status affects AoE range from 6 meters to 9.6 meters. That's actually huge. Arc Staff, each time you reflect an attack, you now gain a stack of Bolt Charge. Light Ranger, meta. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll damage test it. Ascension. Increased fragment slots to 3. Wow. Can now activate the following perks. Gambler's Dodge, Marksman Dodge, Empowering Dodge, and Thread Spectre. Thread Runner. Ensnaring Slam can now activate the following perks. Gambler's Dodge, Marksman Dodge, Thread Spectre. Thread Spectre increased clone damage resistance versus PvE combatants from 40 to 7%. 70%. Okay. Prismatic Gunpowder Gamma HUD icons is now always solar instead of inheriting the color of the super. Warlock Stormcaller. New aspect added on its Sentry. Storm Trance increased damage versus non-champion PvE combatants by 20%. Chaos Reach increased damage versus non-champion PvE combatants by 15%. Lightning Surge removed the amplified on cast. Now grants a stack of Bolt Charge for each enemy hit with Lightning Surge, similar to Ballistic. Increased damage versus PvE combatants by 30%, similar to Ballistic as well. Voidwalker Handheld Supernova increased the number of projectiles from 5 to 9, but reduced the damage against players from 20 to 15 to compensate for that. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Power and Progression. Power bends have been increased. New values will be Power Floor 1900, Soft Cap 1960, Powerful Cap 2010, Hard Cap 2020. Okay. About 10. Some general changes here. 801 will now allow you to progress the tying it all together with up to 490,000 glimmer instead of 240,000 glimmer. Fix an issue with the lore tab to the social ship. A fair wind was missing. Fix an issue with the rapidly navigating through the customization menus could cause some ornaments to become unpurchasable in the appearance screen. Fix an issue where some ornaments could be reacquired even though they were already unlocked. Fix an issue that prevented Solstice glows from appearing on some Trials armor. Fix an issue where some ornaments would erroneously report they were owned even though they have never been acquired. And fix an issue where missing visual accents on the campaign node for the final shape on the timeline. All right, that's it. That's your patch notes. Look, we got a lot of pre and post testing. I'm gonna let you guys know. We'll be breaking things up this week. It's gonna probably come down to like maybe 2, perhaps 3 videos. But yeah, let's jump into it and let's try some stuff out today, man.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.